7 scientifically proven signs that predict how long you'll live after 70. Well, here we are, standing on the other side of 70. When I was younger, I could never have imagined reaching this age, let alone feeling the way I do now. In fact, most of my friends and family members thought they wouldn't make it past 60. But as I sit here today, I can tell you with certainty that life doesn't always follow the path we expect. Sure, there are challenges. Some days are harder than others. But the truth is, we're living in a time where we know more about longevity than ever before. And while it's a blessing to have reached this stage, there's something even more incredible that I've come to realize. Living beyond 70 is possible, and you can influence how long you'll live, especially with the right mindset and lifestyle. When I was younger, I thought old age was a matter of luck. If you were lucky enough to have good genes, a strong constitution, or just the right circumstances, you'd live long and healthy. But the truth is, it's much more complex than that. In fact, there are scientifically proven signs that can give us an idea of how long we might live after 70. Some of these are things we've known for decades, while others have only been understood in recent years. But no matter how old you are, it's never too late to take charge of your health, make better choices, and shape your future in ways you never thought possible. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers, but what I do have is years of experience, both in living and in learning from others. Over the years, I've seen people who seemed destined for long lives and those who, despite their best efforts, didn't make it. What I've learned, and what science continues to prove, is that longevity isn't just a matter of chance. It's about the choices you make every day, from your family history to your daily habits, your mental health, your nutrition, and even how much sleep you get. All these factors contribute to how long you'll live, but it's not just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years, because living longer isn't much of a gift if you're not living it fully. In the coming chapters, we're going to look at 7 scientifically proven signs that predict how long you'll live after 70. Some of these may be things you're already familiar with, but others might surprise you. And my hope is that after hearing about these signs, you'll walk away with a better understanding of what you can do right now to not only live longer, but to live better. You see, it's not just about reaching 70, it's about thriving at 70 and beyond. So, let's dive into these signs and let's start living our best lives, no matter what our age is. Part 1. The Secret of Family History. One thing I've come to realize in my years is just how much our family history influences our health. And surprisingly, it's not just about what we inherit in terms of physical traits like eye color or height. No, it goes much deeper than that. Our genetics, what's passed down from generation to generation, plays a powerful role in how long we live, particularly as we get older. I remember when I was younger hearing stories about my grandparents and great-grandparents. Some lived well into their 90s, and a few even hit the century mark. My parents were both healthy well into their 80s, though they did face some challenges as they aged. It wasn't until I started looking at my own health, though, that I began to see patterns in the way longevity ran through my family. Those who lived long lives were active, ate well, and maintained strong social connections, whereas those who struggled with their health often had different lifestyles and even certain health conditions that were prevalent in our family line. Today, scientists have begun to confirm what many of us have suspected. Your family's health history gives you a window into your own future. According to studies, certain genetic factors, like a family history of heart disease or diabetes, can increase your risk of these conditions as you age. But it's not just about the bad things. In fact, many people who live to be 90 or older often have genes that promote longevity, making them less susceptible to the chronic diseases that often come with age. If you want to understand how long you might live, look back at your family. If your relatives enjoyed long, healthy lives, you might have the same opportunity. But if there are health issues in your family history, it's a sign that you'll need to be more vigilant about your own health. This is where lifestyle choices play such an important role. Your family history may set the stage, but how you live your life can alter the outcome. So, look back at your family tree. What's the story there? It's not a guarantee of how you'll live, but it's certainly a strong indicator. And if your family hasn't had the best track record when it comes to health, that's not a death sentence, far from it. It simply means you'll need to take proactive steps now to make sure you don't follow the same patterns. At Part 2, the role of physical activity. If there's one thing I can tell you after 70 years of living, it's that staying active isn't just important, it's essential. And I don't mean running marathons or lifting heavy weights. No, it's more about the daily habits that keep your body moving and your muscles engaged. Whether it's walking, gardening, swimming, or even just stretching, keeping your body active has a profound impact on your life expectancy. When I was younger, I didn't give much thought to staying active. Like most young people, I took my health for granted. But as the years passed, I began to notice how my body started to change. What I didn't realize back then was that these changes were not just natural signs of aging. They were signals that my body wasn't being used the way it was meant to be. I had to make a conscious decision to change. And believe me, I started small. I began by walking a little more each day. I added some stretches to my routine. Slowly, I built up strength and stamina. Now, research has shown that staying physically active as you age has a direct link to longevity. Studies suggest that regular physical activity can reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and arthritis, all of which can limit your lifespan. But even beyond that, being active helps maintain muscle mass, improve your balance, and keep your metabolism functioning properly. All of these things contribute to a longer, healthier life. But here's the kicker. It doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch. Even if you didn't exercise much earlier in life, you can still reap the benefits. The research consistently shows that older adults who start exercising, even in their 70s or beyond, can experience significant health improvements. I've seen it in my own life, and I've watched it happen with friends who were once sedentary and now are enjoying healthier, more fulfilling lives. The key is consistency. You don't need to push yourself too hard, but you do need to keep moving. Start with something simple and build from there. Go for a walk every day, stretch, or try low-impact exercises like swimming or yoga. The benefits are real and they're waiting for you. Part 3. Mental health and longevity. Now here's something that doesn't always get talked about enough when it comes to living longer: mental health. You may be surprised to hear me say this, but your mind has just as much influence on your lifespan as your body does. In fact, studies are now showing that mental health, particularly your ability to stay positive and resilient, has a direct impact on your physical health. I've seen this firsthand with people I know. There are those who, despite facing difficulties in their later years, continue to stay optimistic, positive, and engaged with life. And then there are others who, although they may be in good physical health, start to decline mentally. They become isolated, depressed, and start to lose their zest for life. I've seen the difference it makes. The ones who stay mentally sharp, who keep their spirits high, tend to live much longer and enjoy those extra years far more fully. The science behind this is fascinating. Studies have shown that people with strong social connections, a positive outlook, and a sense of purpose live longer lives. Mental resilience can reduce stress, lower your risk of heart disease, and even improve your immune system. And this isn't just about avoiding depression. It's about having a mindset that helps you weather life's storms. As I've aged, I've come to realize that mental health isn't something you should wait to address until it becomes a problem. You need to nurture your mental well-being every day. Whether it's keeping up with hobbies, staying connected with friends and family, or simply taking time for yourself, these things all contribute to your emotional and mental resilience. And resilience, as I've learned, is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity. So don't just focus on your body. Pay attention to your mind as well. A healthy mind equals a healthy body, and that's one of the keys to living a longer, richer life. Part 4. Nutrition and your lifespan. If there's one thing I've learned in my years, it's that you truly are what you eat. Over the years, I've seen the impact of diet on not just the body, but the mind as well. When you get older, your body doesn't process food the same way it used to, and the choices you make today will either add years to your life or shorten them. Trust me, I've seen it all, from people who continue to eat what they want, only to pay the price in the form of diabetes, heart disease, and other ailments, to those who take the time to nourish their bodies with wholesome foods and thrive well into their 90s. The science behind nutrition and longevity is clear. A healthy, balanced diet significantly impacts your chances of living longer. Studies have shown that diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins are associated with longer lifespans, while diets high in processed foods, sugars, and unhealthy fats can accelerate aging and contribute to chronic diseases. But it's not just about what you eat. It's also about how much and when you eat. When I was younger, I didn't pay much attention to what I was eating. I lived life and ate what I enjoyed, but as I got older, I realized how important it was to make mindful food choices. One of the best decisions I ever made was cutting back on processed foods and focusing on fresh, whole ingredients. I started eating more vegetables, especially dark leafy greens, which are full of antioxidants. I also made sure to eat plenty of fiber, whether from whole grains or legumes, which is important for digestive health, something we all need as we age. As I began to pay attention to my nutrition, I noticed that I felt better. I had more energy, my mind was sharper, and I was better able to manage my weight and overall health. You don't have to follow the latest fad diet, but it's important to prioritize whole, nutrient-dense foods. Studies have shown that people who eat nutrient-rich diets tend to live longer lives and experience fewer health complications. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but the key is moderation. Focus on balance and be mindful of the food choices you make every day. One more thing, don't skip meals, especially breakfast. Our bodies need fuel to function, and when you eat regular, healthy meals, you're giving yourself the nutrients needed to thrive. Eating mindfully also helps in maintaining a healthy weight, which is another significant factor in how long you'll live. A healthy weight can reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes, and studies have shown that maintaining a healthy body mass index, BMI, can add years to your life. So, take a look at your plate, my friend. What are you eating? If you want to live longer, it's time to start focusing on nourishing your body with real, wholesome foods. It doesn't matter if you're 70 or 90. What you put into your body today will affect how you feel and how long you live tomorrow. Part 5. Social connections and longevity. Now let me tell you something that many people overlook. Social connections are just as important to your longevity as physical health. As we age, it's easy to become more isolated, especially if we lose friends or loved ones. But I can't stress this enough. Staying socially active is crucial for your mental and physical well-being. In my younger years, I was always surrounded by family and friends, and life was a series of busy moments shared with others. But as time went on, I watched as many of my peers began to retreat. They stopped going out, didn't engage in social activities, and eventually, their health seemed to decline faster. On the other hand, I've seen people who, despite their age, keep a strong circle of friends and family around them, and they continue to live long, happy lives. The difference is striking. You see, loneliness can have a serious impact on your health. Studies have shown that people who have strong social relationships are more likely to live longer, healthier lives. Socializing reduces stress, improves mental health, and even boosts your immune system. It's no wonder that people who stay connected tend to stay healthier. The emotional support you receive from friends and family can lower your risk of depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline, all of which are common concerns as we age. The science behind this is undeniable. Research shows that loneliness can increase your risk of early death as much as smoking or being overweight. It leads to chronic stress, which in turn raises inflammation in the body, contributes to heart disease, and affects the immune system. On the other hand, social engagement is linked to lower blood pressure, better heart health, and improved cognitive function. When you have a strong support system, you feel more motivated to take care of yourself. You're more likely to exercise, eat better, and stay engaged with life. But the good news is, it's never too late to build new connections. Whether it's joining a local group, volunteering, or simply making an effort to reach out to old friends, social connections can be formed at any stage of life. Even if you live alone or don't have family close by, there are always opportunities to connect with others. It's all about making the effort to engage and keep your social circle vibrant. So, if there's one thing I'd encourage you to do as you grow older, it's to prioritize social relationships. Make a conscious effort to stay connected with others. Your longevity depends on it, and your happiness will grow along with it. Part 6. Sleep and its connection to lifespan. When I was younger, I didn't think twice about sleep. I would stay up late, work long hours, and still manage to get up early and feel fine. But as I've grown older, I've learned just how much sleep really matters, not only for how you feel today, but for how long you'll live. You might be surprised to hear that sleep is one of the most important factors in determining how long you live. I know we all know we should get enough rest, but what I didn't realize back then is that the quality of your sleep is just as important as the quantity. When I was younger, I used to think that the more hours I could sleep, the better. But now I understand that deep restorative sleep is what matters most. Research shows that inadequate or poor quality sleep increases your risk for a wide variety of health problems, including heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. Over time, sleep deprivation weakens the immune system and accelerates aging. But when you get enough good quality sleep, your body has a chance to repair itself. Sleep helps lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and even improve memory and brain function. It's a time for your body to recharge, heal, and rejuvenate. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that my sleep needs have changed. I may not sleep as many hours as I did when I was younger, but I make sure that the sleep I do get is deep and uninterrupted. I've made sleep a priority in my daily routine. I avoid caffeine in the afternoon. I keep my bedroom cool and dark, and I've learned to wind down before bed instead of working late into the night. These small adjustments have made a world of difference in my energy levels and overall well-being. So, if you want to live longer, it's time to take sleep seriously. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night and focus on the quality of that sleep. Create a bedtime routine that allows you to wind down properly. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes, not just for how you feel, but for how long you'll live. Shout out to Part 7, Spiritual Health and Longevity. As I sit here reflecting on my years, there's one final piece of the puzzle that I've come to truly appreciate in my journey to living a long and fulfilling life: spiritual health. I know that for many people, spirituality might not always seem like something that affects how long you live. But let me tell you, the connection is real. In fact, many studies have shown that people who engage in spiritual practices, whether it's religion, meditation, or a connection to something greater than themselves, tend to live longer, happier lives. For me, faith has always been a central part of my existence. I grew up with strong beliefs, and throughout my life I've found strength, comfort, and guidance in my spirituality. It's not just about going to church or praying when times get tough. It's about fostering a deep sense of peace and purpose that carries you through both the good times and the bad. Studies have shown that people who engage in regular spiritual practices tend to have lower levels of stress, a stronger sense of community, and better coping mechanisms for handling the challenges of life. For example, those who regularly pray or meditate often report a greater sense of well-being, fewer health problems, and a deeper sense of connection to the world around them. This sense of peace and purpose, in turn, leads to better physical health outcomes and a greater likelihood of living longer. I've seen this firsthand in my own life. Through prayer and reflection, I've learned to manage stress better, avoid unhealthy anxieties, and find gratitude in everyday moments. Faith gives me the strength to persevere through the tough times and helps me appreciate the good ones. It's an anchor in the storm of life, and that peace of mind is something that cannot be underestimated when it comes to longevity. But spirituality is not just about religion. It's also about finding meaning in life. Some people find purpose through their work, others through helping others, and some through personal growth or artistic expression. It doesn't matter how you find it, as long as you find it. A life without purpose, without something that keeps you going, is a life that's harder to live fully, and research backs this up. People with a sense of purpose tend to live longer, healthier lives. So, if you want to add years to your life, consider nurturing your spiritual health. Engage in practices that connect you to your deeper self. Whether through prayer, meditation, or simply spending time in nature, find ways to cultivate a sense of peace and purpose. It's this connection to something greater that will not only add years to your life, but will make those years more meaningful. Conclusion: living a longer, richer life. As I've shared with you today, there are many factors that determine how long you'll live after 70. Your genetics, physical activity, nutrition, mental and emotional well-being, social connections, sleep, and spiritual health all play crucial roles in shaping your longevity. But here's the truth I've learned over the years: none of these factors operate in isolation. It's the combination of all these elements that work together to give you the best chance at a long, fulfilling life. I'm not saying that living longer is always easy. It takes effort, patience, and a commitment to taking care of your body, mind, and soul. But I've found that the effort is worth it. I'm living proof that with the right choices, you can enjoy not just a longer life, but a better one. A life filled with purpose, joy, and the strength to face whatever comes your way. Now you might be wondering, can I really make these changes? And the answer is yes, you can. It's never too late to start. Whether you're 70 or 90, it's never too late to take control of your health and happiness. By adopting a few simple changes in your lifestyle, you can significantly improve the quality of your years and even extend them. It's all about making choices today that will shape your tomorrow. I encourage you to take a good look at your own life and think about what changes you could make. Are you moving enough? Are you eating the right foods? Are you taking care of your mental health and staying connected with others? Are you nurturing your spiritual health? These are all questions worth asking because they all play a part in the length and quality of your life. The years ahead of you are a gift. Don't take them for granted. Embrace the opportunity to live them fully with purpose, joy, and health. It's your choice to make, and the steps you take today will determine how you'll feel tomorrow. Take care of your body, mind, and soul, and I promise you that the road ahead will be one worth traveling. Here's to a long, happy life. May it be everything you hope for and more.